Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ippo of RageQuitTV, gonna be casting a game between TLO and Nony, and this is just not any game. This is part of MLG Winter and the losers bracket. So the loser of this game gets to go home. And I say gets to go home like it's a privilege. That is not what they want to do because they get eliminated from the tournament if they lose this BO3. So a lot is on the line. This is game number 1 on Antiga Shipyards. And this is a map that a lot of Protoss players generally go for early aggression because Zerg players feel so comfortable going on a very fast third base. All 3 bases are very easy to fend off. And Stargate play isn't the best on this map just because the creep spread doesn't take that much to get to your third, and your queens can easily protect all 3 bases. So generally, if Protoss is going to go for early aggression, it is going to be a lot of gates, and they're going to abuse sentries. If they can engage in this area, that is what they want because it's so easy to force field that off. We'll see exactly what TLO ends up doing to defend against anything that Nony can throw. And of course, Nony, lately he's been showing a lot of like a macro style toss, but this is part of MLG played about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I don't believe this is that Nony. He hasn't done that improvement, unfortunately, yet. His new games are very entertaining to watch, and so are his old games, but more so his new games because he's just kind of started playing a new style lately. So this is his old style. We'll see if it can take out TLO, and a lot of people say TLO is in a slump, but he does play very well, and maybe he'll get points for shaving his beard sometime soon. We know, well, it's not shaved yet. He didn't win MLG Winter, but this is far from the championship, so I have no idea who wins this game. We do have TLO taking an expansion, and now going out with his Overlord. It is the MLG version, so that's why you see the Overlord going completely across first. Nony placing pylons just hidden around his base, getting full vision everywhere. Now going to be going for that Cybernetics core. And it's a little bit odd that he isn't going to be going for a Forge Fast Expand. This is a new game, a relatively new game, and Nony has something in store for TLO, most likely going to be a 1-gate expand because you generally just don't see the 3-gate expands or the 4 gates anymore, but it still could be a 4-gate, and maybe that would be casting TLO off guard. We do have the Probe Scout now about to be going to see exactly what TLO is doing. He does get a second gas relatively early, so I'm really curious what Nony is going to be gearing up to do. That second gas could be used for Stargate play. It could also be used just to get a lot of sentries out. The probe now going to be coming into TLO's base to see exactly what is going on. Sees no gas, and that is a relatively good tell. It means that he doesn't have to worry about any type of roachling all in, which is relatively common when you do a 1-gate expand. That is one of the things that does beat it, and Nony going to be throwing down his second gate, so he is not going to be doing the 1-gate expand, but of course, Roachling does beat out the 1-gate expand. Roaches generally just beat the 1-gate expand if you get them out early enough. And TLO did scout it was going to be a 1-gate expand, so it could have been a 1-gate expand, I should say. Nony has a Zealot and Sentry down here, just chrono boosting this Warp Gate research. Does have that other gate up, and we'll see if he ends up taking his Nexus. He may just go for a 2-gate Robo. I have no idea what Nony is doing. The probe is going kind of in a position where I think he wants to build a Nexus, so it will be 2-gate Expo. TLO still hasn't taken any gas whatsoever, so he is going to be playing this game very safe. I'm assuming he's going to be taking his third base with one of these drones that is about to go down. No, he is not taking his third base just yet, going up on 4 queens. And maybe he's not taking his third just because he knows Nony didn't go for the Forge Fast Expand, so he can put pressure on at any minute. So taking that third base for TLO would be a little bit risky. Has to get units out, or at least, at minimum, scout Nony yet again. A little bit interesting that the Overlord's path that was down here, then up to take the third. You'd think the Overlord may want to sit right here or back here. Just keep an eye on this expo so TLO could see when Nony took that. Because he didn't do that, he has no idea what Nony is up to. 2 gates right now into this expand, getting that sentry count very high, so when he decides to put pressure on, he is going to have a lot of energy. I'm assuming he is going to be putting on pressure just because, well, he went for a later expo than TLO. TLO going to be getting a macro hatch, probably assumes that Nony is going to be the one putting on pressure, and Nony has a lot. Generally, the warp gates aren't even done yet, so you're sitting at just a Zealot and a few sentries, and Nony has a scary force, and this is why not doing the Forge Expo could be good. You can catch a lot of Zerg players off guard just because they don't know exactly how to defend against this. TLO getting more spine crawlers, has one up here, does have 4 queens, this 4th base not going up, and now Nony is going to be going on down, going to the unit station. We do have 13 lings versus the 3 zealots, 2 stalkers, and 4 sentries, but TLO building a few more lings now, just getting that speed research, canceling those tumors so they don't get taken out. Nony backing off right now, a little bit scared of this one spine crawler. And he is going to see... No, he doesn't see... Oh, no, he does see the Overlord, but can't manage to take it out. TLO getting a lot of lings, and Nony needs to go in to attack soon. These lings coming all the way down here. Will Nony get this complete wall? Yes, he does have a zealot down there. Didn't bring a probe with him. And this may be why Nony isn't committing to any attack, because he doesn't have a single worker with him. I don't know if he actually wants to attack TLO. He has forced a lot of lings out, 14 lings. Well, maybe not. TLO's still just droning. Getting a few more lings, but he is at 49 drones to Nony's 40 probes. So maybe this attack from Nony was geared up to force TLO to build a lot of workers. I mean, not a lot of workers, a lot of lings. So he doesn't build those workers and allows Nony to catch back up in the econ. But TLO doesn't look like he's falling for that one bit. Does have a handful of lings out, but also was droning up during that whole period. Just not doing max drone pumps, doing like 4 drones and a few lings. Very nicely held by TLO, scouting that bluff. Maybe on this one watchtower, he saw there was no probe with the army. If there's no probe with the army, the Protoss player generally will not commit to an attack. And maybe that's what TLO did see. We do have the Forge now just finishing +1. This Overlord does get taken out. TLO doesn't see the +1 researching, so he doesn't know that it is going to be some type of gateway timing, as we do have a lot of gates being built. 5 gates on the way. 2 is all ready too, so it's going to be 5 gates and 1 robo facility. Or 7 gates and 1 robo, I should say. Or 8? 8 gates and 1 robo facility. I forgot he did build one by the ramp. TLO has taken out those rocks. Great use of idle lings. And Nony is going to be moving out yet again. Does have a warp prism on the way. Still no worker with his army, so he's not going to be able to build any pylons, but he does have a warp prism, and looks like he's going to be using that instead of a forward pylon. A little bit odd. I haven't really seen any Protoss players favor that over pylons. We do have TLO taking out these rocks. Also has a beautiful creep spread, and maybe that is why Nony wouldn't be able to get a forward pylon anywhere close to TLO due to his creep spread, and that is just so good. You can also see him coming a mile away, but most importantly, it just forced the forward pylon way back if Nony wanted to place one. Guardian shields going down, but these are just lings, no roaches in. Needs to get some force fields up. There we go. Some force fields do go down a little bit late. Stalkers do get absorbed in these force fields, so the lings can no longer attack. We have this 1 warp prism on the way. TLO took out the Forge, it looks like. Or maybe that was Nony walling himself in. I don't know. Assuming that was TLO taking the Forge out. We do have a lot of Zealots being warped in. And Nony got a little bit ahead of himself in this right now. I think if he waited to attack till he had the Warp Prism with his army and had those Zealots to kill all those lings, that would have worked so much better. We do have TLO trying to kill off all these Zealots. The force fields go down. Lings cannot get us around on these Zealots, and TLO still going to be going in now. There he goes, backing off. Lings are at 1-1. Zealots are at 1-0. And now that TLO has killed off that Forge, he knows he's going to be so ahead in upgrades. We do have Nony with 4 Zealots in that 1 Warp Prism, getting more Zealots, and no, just sentries down here to get any force fields that he needs. The Warp Prism is going to be coming in to do a little bit of damage. Also will scout this lair timing. Hive timing, I should say. It's not a lair, that is a hive morphing for TLO. And the Zealots are going to be coming back. We do have Lings taking out this 3rd base. Nony going to be stuck on 2 bases for much longer than he wants. He does get to cancel off. Sees this 1 base down here. Will he warp in units? A lot of Lings from TLO. He has complete map control. Nony probably could have killed 2 workers, but decided to back off. This 1 warp prism not really doing all that much. Look at that creep from TLO. Nony's going to have to get an observer and start moving on out and cleaning that up, because TLO is going to have such good map control. We do have that Spire just about done. Nony, though, going to be going for a Templar Archives. Does have just mainly Zealots and Sentries. No Stalkers out. There are a few Roaches out, and now getting that Passion Glands and Adrenal Glands. This is looking relatively bad for Nony. We do have another base for TLO in this bottom left side. Nony still cannot get his third base up. He really needs to get that up. And it looks like because he doesn't have Stalkers, he is going to get those Immortals to deal with the Roaches. So it's going to be Zealot, Immortal, Sentry, and Templar. And that is a very good thing against a Lair Tech army. But TLO is going to be at Hive Tech once he gets those Broodlords out. He already has the Hive, but the Broodlords still have some time. Warp Prism is going to be going in to deal with this one base down here. It looks like he doesn't know about it yet, but he will be seeing it. TLO sending a bunch of links to try to defend against that, trying to cancel this third base yet again. But Nony has the units there, does get that saved. Now the Warp Prism sees its base, sees Lings already there. Whooping at things would be a mistake. That Storm, though, just about halfway done. Does have a handful of High Templars, and those Lings just waiting underneath this one Warp Prism. Nony is going to have to turtle up and get to 200 supply. Has a handful of minerals in the bank, and now he is just going to be walling this off. Doesn't want to deal with any type of run-by, as that is what TLO loves to do. He loves Ling run-bys. That is, I guess, his style, you could say. TLO has taken out so many of the destructible rocks around the map. Taken out these. Hasn't taken out these yet. He may do that relatively soon, but... And he hasn't taken out these because he doesn't want these to go down. So maybe not so much. Just taking out the ones by his third base, or fourth base I should say. Things going around, and I don't know what happened to that Warp Prism. It is nowhere in sight. Did it just die? No, it is around. Okay, maybe back at home. Ling's running in, sees all of the High Templars, gonna try to pick them off. 2 go down, I believe. And those Lings still just gonna be running in, and now don't get to see too much. That is an odd pylon wall right there. Maybe he's hoping that Lings did a run by and then ran right here and got caught in between all the pylons. And, yeah, not too much. TLO is getting 3 Broodlords right now. Nony doesn't have any anti-air. Well, his anti-air is 2 Stalkers and Storms. And I guess you could call Sentries anti-air, but they are not good against Broodlords one bit. TLO going to be taking yet another base. He has been going up on 5 bases, 6 bases to Nony's 3 bases. You can see he's not really mining anymore. Going to the Workers 72 to 84. Nony going to be moving out, and, well, he's going to be caught by a little bit of surprise when he does see the Broodlords in with this army. And now Nony can no longer engage the army. He has to be careful not to get hit by those fungal growths. And those Zealots taking a lot of damage from fungals already out of shields before this battle does begin. And Nony has to go around the Infestors and sneak out around 2 bases, because if he gets fungal growth, like he does right now, that means the Broodlords have a chance to catch up and do a lot of damage. More Broodlords being morphed. Those High Templars have a lot of energy. Storms going off. Hitting these Broodlords, that's not going to do a thing. Even transfusing them to keep them alive while they're morphing. A little bit of waste, but he is at 200 energy, so it doesn't matter all that much. These Roaches trying to deny Nony from getting back into his base and doing a relatively good job at that. Infestitans are coming down. Nony does storm them. And that is like the weakness to Infestitans. Protoss can deal with Infestitans better than any other race. And now what Nony has to do is just not engage this army and somehow manage to take off all the bases around here, kill off TLO's Econ. That is going to be relatively hard to do, but it is possible. TLO's force is very, well, maybe it's not so remote because of the creep spread he has almost 100% of the map, well, maybe 50% of the map, because Nony does control a portion, but whatever Nony doesn't have, TLO almost has gooped up in that creep. 1 Broodlord going down, and Nony sees all those spine crawlers up on that high ground, so he's going to be like, yeah, I don't really want to go in there. Nony stacking a lot of minerals. TLO going up on all his bases right now. More Broodlords morphing in, going into his drone saturation. You can see relatively good saturation amongst bases, transferring some drones on over. And wait, as I say that, This base, okay, there we go. He has transferred them off to get good saturation at all of his bases. A lot of Broodlords morphing in, and Nony is going to be going in to take off this one base. If he can take off all 3 of these bases, this is going to be big. This is going to be how Nony has to get back in this game, by taking off all of the bases. The drones do look like they will stay alive. There are no High Templars. Actually, no, there we go. High Templars do join the army. Now Nony does see the drone transfer. And is he going to go up on that high ground? It doesn't look like it is. The Broodlord's catching up with the zombie, so Nony has to back off. Good storms going off, getting all those queens. And we do have some transfuse. A lot of infestors, I believe, did die, but there goes Nony's force. He does have a War Prism right here to take out more bases. And at the same time, there were some lings over in Nony's natural, or third base, I should say, but has so many workers to that, 2 mining bases, it's not going to make a huge deal. 71 workers split up between 2 bases. TLO going to be putting spine collars, just inching his way in. This is how I think Zerg is meant to be played. Back in Brood War, whenever you went on creep, you had to worry about spine collars just being around, because you needed creep colonies to spread that creep. So TLO, like, unburring and moving his spine crawlers with that creep, making it look very much like it used to in the olden days. Those pylons going to be going down, so now TLO can start doing run-bys yet again. That one base did fall. And we do have another big warp in of Zealots going into the natural. Nony's just going to try to hold this off and snipe all of the bases by TLO. So far, he has taken out one of them. Actually, 2 bases Nony has taken out, and he only has 2 more to go after this natural. You can look how much is left on the natural. That is a lot left. But being 23 minutes in the game, both players, well, I say natural, it is third base. A lot of Broodlords going in. Holy cow, that is a lot of Broodlings. 14 Broodlords out on the map. TLO does back off, realizing I have enough Broodlings to kill off that one Nexus. These Zealots tugging down the Extractor. A little bit of an odd move. Handful of Zealots now going to try to surround that one Roach. Does not get it. Upgrades 1-0 versus TLO's 0-3 on the Roaches. On his melee attack, I don't know what he's got. I don't see any lings. Cannot find them anywhere. Zealots never really tugged at this one third base, but here we go. A handful of Zealots going to be going in and surrounding that one Roach. Actually, more Roaches on the way, so the Zealots just going to be running in. And going to try to take out all of the econ of TLO. And TLO just has the spine claws. Knows he doesn't have to engage. Third base now getting rebuilt by Nony. But it is looking really nice for TLO. Warp Prism still here, but we do have Lings, and they're at 3-3 upgrades with that Adrenal Gland. So those 3-3 Lings just demolishing what Nony has. He is going up on 2-1 right now. Really, really fell behind in those upgrades. And TLO realizing again, he has enough Broodlings, so he backs those Broodlords off. Very nice job. And Nony going to try to sneak around the side of the map. He just has to be careful he doesn't get caught by fungal growth like he just did, because every time he gets caught by fungal growth, that allows these Broodlords to catch up. Storm going down on them, but there are just so many. Well, it does do DPS, but the Queen's transfusing them back up to full life, and Nony doesn't have an army versus TLO's army. 105 to 194. Nony is going to be coming in. And, throwing those Roaches, keeping them alive. Those Observers did die to fungal growths. And that one Templar is in danger. Yes, it does fall. Nony inching his way up. Doesn't have that much. Still no third base, because it did just get taken out. 86 supplied to 195. Fungal growth goes down on those Stalkers, and this is going to be the end of Nony in game number 1. We will be going into game number 2 relatively soon.